Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi is now accusing the Jubilee administration of scheming to postpone next year's general elections, which is slated for August. Mudavadi says the executive was behind a scheme. What he says by yesterday was a move to to have the cancellation of the names that had been shortlisted for the selection panel. That was 5 candidates that had been shortlisted, and next week for the position of IEBC chairperson. Here now is Patrick Amimo, who is kicking off our bulletin tonight.
The country was eager to witness public interviews for the 5 candidates who had been shortlisted for the position of IEBC chairperson. The interviews were slated for Monday and Tuesday next week. Last month, the IEBC selection panel released a timetable which indicated it would present names of 2 successful candidates to the president for nomination to the position of IEBC chairperson on November 30th. But on Friday, the panel made a surprise move when it deferred interviews to a later date and re-advertised the position.
In order to ensure that the decisions of the panel will be informed by relevant references and background checks, it was necessary that the interviews for the position of chairperson be deferred to a later date to be published.
Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi has questioned the independence of the selection panel, which was supposed to be shielded from political interference. The panel's move to postpone the interviews came after some key leaders from Jubilee questioned the list of 5. Mudavadi is accusing the executive of interference.
Tuchunguze sana yale yanafanyika kuhusu IEBC. Hawa walisema tutakuwa na independent selection panel. Wameanza kazi, imefika pahali, wamecancel wale ambao walikuwa shortlisted, wanasema tena waanze new application.
You can't do an advertisement ya position, wale wana apply ni 13. Kutoka hao 13, 8 hawana qualification. Unaacha 5. Unasema those 5 are the best suited to run IEBC. It cannot be. We want people who are hired on their own merit, not because others don't qualify. So we're asking for that advertisement.
The opposition has expressed concern that the former IEBC under Isaac Hassan is still in office and has been carrying out work meant for a fresh IEBC. Delay in the appointment of IEBC chairperson opens a new battlefront between the government and opposition.
Sasa ukifanya timetable kulingana na yale walizungumza, inaonekana labda kuna njama ya kuhakikisha kwamba uchaguzi wa mwaka ujao usifanyike vile unatakiwa ufanyike. Watu waanze kusema kwa sababu tume haiko tayari, waahirishe tena uchaguzi. Hii itakuwa kukaidi katiba na ni hatari. Kwa hivyo sisi kama Wakenya tuwe macho, tuhakikishe kwamba democratic rights zetu hazitadhulumiwa, kwa sababu hatutaki serikali ambayo has annoyed the people, it is trampling on people, wapate any extra day kwa mamlaka.
The select panel says interviews for the position of member of the IEBC will start on 1st December as scheduled. Patrick Amimo, KTN News.
Ford Kenya's General Council has endorsed its party leader Moses Wetangula as its presidential flag bearer and given him green lights to battle for CORD's presidential flag bearer's ticket with his coalition partners Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga. However, the function saw opposition leaders led by Kalonzo Musyoka and Wetangula himself bash Jubilee administration, which they accused of condoning and perpetuating corruption blatantly, as they warned of dire consequences, including bringing the country to a standstill should Jubilee's cattle IEBC reconstitution process.
After receiving heavy bashing from government for playing what is said to be politics of convenience on war against corruption, opposition chiefs have responded in equal measure.
This is a strange country where hard-working people are villains and rogues, thieves and robbers are heroes. We must change.
That was a message out of Bomet. Atopoe because she knows it. She sincerely knows it. And she will therefore become one of our national heroes or heroines if she takes the bull by the horn, so that we are not seen to beat about the bush about this subject of corruption.
But looking the way Kenya is and what is going on in this great country, I have no doubt that we are winning the next elections.
And they narrowed in on Deputy President William Ruto, who began the political tongue-lashing against code.
When you look at this country, people who have never even been clerks in any office in their lives, like William Ruto, are now dollar billionaires. Because of what is happening in the Jubilee government, people think that he is a thief, and it is upon him to prove that he is not one.
On IEBC's reform process, CORD claims it's the government intentionally derailing the process.
We need to remind them, sisi hatujachoka. Na safari hii Wakenya wakirudi mitaani, it will not be the same. It will not be the same. Kwa hivyo mambo haya ambayo yalikubaliwa yasije yakadharauliwa.
And they know, if they don't, we want them to know that we have the capacity to bring this country to a standstill if we wish. Elections must take place in 2017, in August. There is no postponement of those elections. But we must have elections that are free and fair. Kama wamekataa kutumia zile sheria ambayo wakina Alwana na Mudama na sisi sote tulitunga ikapitishwa kwa bunge, you better leave them to have their elections, and we'll have our elections in August next year, and we'll announce who is the President of the Republic of Kenya.
The leaders were at the Bomas of Kenya, where Ford Kenya's General Council endorsed its party leader Moses Wetangula as their presidential candidate.
Sisi kama wana Ford Kenya tumesema weta mpaka wapi? Mpaka wapi?
The party also ratified expulsion from the party-elected leaders who have crossed over to Jubilee. Just like its coalition partner in ODM, the Ford Kenya delegates have also endorsed their party leader Moses Wetangula to contest for presidency, even as it remains unclear as to when the opposition team will name its flag bearer. Duncan Hemba, KTN at Bomas.
In continuing to offer good services to its people, the county government of Nandi has extended the 100% waiver of interest.
Deputy President's tour at the coast last weekend has once again sparkled political rivalry, pitting him against Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho. It all began by Deputy President labeling Mombasa Governor and ODM's deputy party leader as an education dwarf.
Wale mandugu zangu wa hapa Mombasa wanajaribu kushindana na mimi nataka niwaambie I am not available for any contest with you. I am not available. Mimi sina, kama uko na bahasha ama sijui ni sanduku ama sijui ni gunia, hiyo ni yako. Mimi sifanyi biashara hiyo. Mimi namuogopa Mungu.
Throughout the week, this seemed to have angered Governor Joho. In more than one occasion, Joho has continued to associate Deputy President William Ruto with cases of corruption in the country from Kilifi.
Mimi nakwambia wewe, tukupatia academic giant.
And in Mombasa.
Alafu tukae kwanza mimi hapa yeye hapa tuulizwe maswali muone vile tutapatapa. And by the way, that is the way to go. Tufunguliwe sisi ukurasa wetu wote. Don't come here and lie to us that wewe ni mjanja kutuliko na sisi tuelewa mipango yenu.
But really, what could have caused all this?
Yote ni siasa. na kila mmoja anajaribu kupata umaarufu katika chama chake na katika siasa.
The deputy president has continued to traverse this country, marketing the newly formed Jubilee Party, but in the process making it clear that come 2022, he will be vying for the presidency, a mechanism that doesn't go well with Mombasa governor.
Mwaka wa 2013 mpaka 2017 Uhuru Kenyatta. Mwaka wa 2017 mpaka mwaka wa 2022 Uhuru Kenyatta. Mwaka wa 2022 mpaka mwaka wa 2027 William Ruto. Mwaka wa 2027 mpaka mwaka wa 2032 William Ruto. Hiyo mimi nakwambia haiwezekani my friend. Hatukubali. Lazima tuisimamishe hiyo na tuisimamishe haraka. Ati mimi nikitaka kuwa president, angalia vile wanakosa heshima watu. Anasema wewe ukitaka kuwa president mpaka ungoje 2032, mimi singoji mpaka 2032. Hiyo tumekataa.
Ilifika pahali akagundua kwamba kila akiwashambulia Uhuru na Ruto anapata umaarufu zaidi. Kwa hivyo kwake ni siasa, na ni kama watu wanapenda namna hiyo, kwamba wanapenda mtu ambaye fujo kidogo anaweza kutishia wale viongozi wa Nairobi.
The coast region is largely perceived as a coal stronghold, having voted for the coal principle overwhelmingly in the last 2 general elections. Well, the Jubilee government now is banking on coal defectors to turn the tide against the opposition. Francis Mtalaki, KTN News, Mombasa.
The Murang'a gubernatorial race is proving to be a tight one, pitting Kigumo Member of Parliament Jamlek Kamau against the incumbent Mwangi Wairia. Earlier this afternoon, Kamau launched his manifesto for Murang'a by calling on the Murang'a voter to exercise caution while choosing their next governor. Karan Dari attended the launch and now reports.
Mombi grounds was a buzz of activity as the launch of Jamlek Irongo Kamau's manifesto got underway. Kamau, who has been the Member of Parliament for the Kigumo constituency for the last 10 years, is now not shy about announcing his bid for the gubernatorial position, where he says he is ready to unseat the incumbent Mwangi Wairia. The two have recently locked horns publicly. And to add to the political intrigues in Murang'a County, the Deputy Governor Gakure Monyo served as the MC during Jamlek Kamau's manifesto launch. Other elected leaders who publicly showed their support for Jamlek Irongo Kamau included the Murang'a women representative Sabina Chege, Murang'a Senator Kembi Gitura, and 3 members of parliament. Murang'a has 7 MPs and 4 were present at Mombi grounds, including Kamau himself. Kamande Wambogo Maragwa MP, Alice Wahome Kandara MP, and Irongo Kangata Kiharo MP.
Wairia anainama, anainuka, akaangalia, akaona Kamau, akatoroka.
Other leaders who graced Jamlek Kamau's function included Leader of Majority Eden Duale, Nairobi Women Representative Rachel Shebesh, Buri Amburi, Tigania East MP, and James Mwangi Gakuya MP, Embakasi North. 10 Murang'a MCAs were also present.
Jamlek ni mkazi wa Murang'a na hako na haki kikatiba kuandaa hii sherehe. Ndugu yetu Wairia, pia wewe andaa sherehe, tuje tukusikize.
Mwangi Wairia, na kubeg, let us do mature politics. Let us do mature politics.
Mheshimiwa Jamlek, you must agree that we must sit together and talk about the Murang'a we want.
And we cannot pride ourselves in this county of having made even 1 inch of tarmac in Murang'a County. It is a big shame. When you give me your votes, I am promising to you, siku ya leo, to upgrade at least 100 kilometers of road across the county to bitumen standards. Tarmac.
Jamlek Kamau has promised to deliver to the people of Murang'a County. The cornerstones of his manifesto include infrastructure, water and health. Definitely, the political temperatures in Murang'a County are getting heated. The excitement is palpable. Even as the people of Murang'a themselves hope that the politicians coming out to vie for different positions will indeed fulfill their promises and reach out to the people of Murang'a to empower their lives. Carol Derry, KT News, Mombi Grounds, Murang'a County.
Welcome back. Tonight on Daring Abroad, we feature a Kenyan meat processing expert, Sylvester Nyadero, who is among the expatriates in Liberia helping transform the country meat industry that was negatively affected by civil war. And as our special correspondent Alex Chamwada reports, this is the last feature of our special series that focused on Africa.
One to dink it over the on-rush.
American NGO that is supporting Liberia's livestock sector.
I came primarily, one, to coordinate the various contractors, that is the civil engineers, the mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, refrigeration engineers, to ensure that the abattoir would produce or would run, or the production, there will be no downtimes, to end up with this facility to put it together, yeah, one. Then two, to help in recruitment and training of staff. And then three, train the management team, yeah, and also train in the actual running of this abattoir.
Sylvester, a graduate of the University of Nairobi in food science and technology, is now one of the expatriates Liberians are depending on to uplift the sector that crumbled due to civil wars.
And Liberia do not have sufficient livestock supply to feed the populations, as compared to Kenya, or as compared to Somalia, where we have a lot of livestock, or in Tanzania, where we have a lot of livestock. And equally, livestock is very expensive in West Africa. It's twice or 2.5 the price in Kenya and the neighboring countries, or in East Africa.
Liberia, with a population of only about 4 million people, is known to be green almost throughout the year, with great potential not only for agriculture, but also livestock keeping.
Liberia imports virtually the livestock that is required from mainly Guinea, because there is high livestock population in Guinea and Ivory Coast. Tayarisha mashini, sasa hiyo ng'ombe iko juu, unararua ng'ombe kutoka juu. This is the first abattoir of its kind. The abattoir that was built earlier on was done in 1960s and is in a very, very bad state at the moment. We only have one meat inspector in the country, and you can imagine what that means. So more meat inspectors have to be trained.
Ebola outbreak that hit Liberia and other West African nations in 2014 spread partly due to poor handling of meat.
The issue of hygiene is a challenge, and people really have to be trained, even in the markets, of how to handle meat. And also remember, most of the meat that is eaten in Liberia is imported, mainly from India and other countries.
And one may ask, are there investment opportunities in the livestock sector here?
One is to invest in breeding and multiplication, to bring the right breeds, because pasture is not the problem, water is not a problem. It's to get the right breeds and get the right veterinarians to take care of livestock. That is a big investment opportunity in this country.
This is one thing we're looking at, because here we have more than 10-15 persons working here who are being jobless. So it's going to help us.
The locals relate with us very well. They relate with us very well. I don't think they have problems with us. We don't have issues.
That brings us to the end of this special season of Daring Abroad, the Pan-African season, in which we featured Kenyans and other nationalities working or doing business, especially in Western and East African countries, from Kenya to Uganda, Burundi to Rwanda, Tanzania to Ghana, Liberia, and even Togo, where the headquarters of EcoBank is located. Signing off from Monrovia, the capital city of Liberia, I'm Alex Chamwada for KTN Weekend Prime.
Welcome back. Let's now talk sports. And Rajbir Rai is the winner of the Guru Nanak Rally, which is the final leg of the Kenya National Rally Championship that took place in Naivasha. Rai's win is his second consecutive win after bagging Kitengela leg a month ago. Driving his Ford Fiesta, Rai clocked a time of 1 hour, 26 minutes and 54 seconds. Last season's champion, Jasprit Chat, was hot on the heels of Rai, but the Kisumu-based driver managed to finish in the second spot in 1 hour, 29 minutes and 49 seconds. Ian Duncan finished in the third position. Top seed Karan Patel, Manvir Barian and Tapio Laukkanen were among the early casualties, with the latter rolling out on the early morning run at Aberdare Hills. Eric Bengi won the two-wheel drive championship.
I'm glad, yes, we could finally make it happen. So yeah, it feels good.
It's a great feeling. I mean, coming second on a podium, especially getting a podium in the last event of the season, and especially Guru Nanak, it's definitely very, very pleasing.
It gets better and better. I mean, now you finish a stage and then there's 5 or 6 cars within 10 seconds of each other, which is really good, you know. So okay, it makes it very hard to do well, but then when you do it, it's very rewarding.
Kenya Volleyball Fed League National Playoffs Day 2 had a mix of results, with the men's defending champions being among the casualties, going down 3-2 against an impressive Kenya Prisons. After impressing on the first day of their outing, the distinguished War Generals went down in sets of 25-17, 19-25, 21-25 and 25-22, as well as 15-11 against the Prisons. Kenya Ports Authority also made a statement, winning their match against Nairobi Water 2-1 in sets of 17-25, 18-25, 21-25, 21-25. In the ladies' tie, defending champions Kenya Pipeline had an easy ride against KCB, and Kenya Prisons also bagged an important 3-0 win over Nairobi Water. The Kenya Defence Forces men's handball team are the new East and Central Africa handball champions after defeating the defending champions Police of Rwanda by 43 goals to 41 in a highly contested match played at the Nyayo National Stadium Arena. KDF showed their intention early and were able to stand Rwanda offense early in the match and ensured they bagged the much-needed title. The defending champions Police of Rwanda lost the match with only 2 goals, and their side had issues with the officiating. In a different match, Nairobi Water women's handball team defended their title for the 3rd time in a row after overcoming KDF by 32 goals to 28 and finishing at the top of their table with 6 points.
Kulingana na sisi kama timu ya KDF, sisi tumekuwa tukitrain, tulikuwa tunajua tunaishinda. Ingawaje hatukwenda ile alasi ilikuwa Rwanda, tukasema hii inakuja huku kwetu nyumbani mpaka tutashinda.
Tumeshindwa, lakini kusema kweli warefu walikuwa na side.
kusema kweli, sababu tulikuwa tunacheza timu ya Kenya, hata wa ref walikuwa wa Kenya. Sasa sisi sema game ilikuwa fair. Mwanzo ilikuwa fair, lakini mwisho haijakuwa fair.
Us, our Saturday night poll, whether you think the opposition, whether you agree with the opposition that Jubilee wants to delay the 2017 general election. Here's some of what you're saying. Ryan Samir, you said no, CORD is used to blaming Jubilee over everything about IEBC in order to set and get a new body. Isaac Mutusi, yes, Jubilee government must work smart. Then there's another one here, Washira, you say opposition are not serious about their readiness for elections. Zach Eritson, no. Really, this is just another political move from the opposition. And in many more of your views tonight, thank you so much for engaging with us. My name is Sophia Wanuna. On behalf of the team, we thank you for joining us. And we want to leave you with this story where perhaps many parts of the country are currently experiencing, giving rise to local community football extended dry spell. But that is not the case in Turkana, where hundreds of pastoralists in the county have been forced to migrate to the neighboring Uganda, South Sudan, and Ethiopia as drought continues to ravage. Joanne Letting now reports. Enjoy the rest of your viewing and good night.
A spot check by KTN revealed that Turkana North, Turkana West, and Kibish sub-counties have been adversely affected by the drought. Hundreds of animals have died and some keep dying each passing day. Hundreds of acres of land remain bare as the trees dry up and grasses slowly become history. Residents have expressed concern about the rate at which the semi-arid land is slowly turning into a desert. Kevina Akaya, resident of Kairis in Turkana North, lamented that their livestock had been forced to feed on feces.
Ukame iko hapa kwetu sana. Mbuzi zimeanza kufa. Sana ni kondoo. Hata sasa kwa mtu mwingine imefunga tu mbuzi ya kondoo. Sipokuwa hii mbuzi hii ndio iko peke yake. Moja na ingine tu inaenda kukonda na inaenda na ukame bado inaendelea kuingia, hakuna mvua.
She adds that the county government had brought fodder to them, but it was not enough to feed the now emaciated livestock. Akai Moita, resident of Kokro village in Turkana North, laments that they have been forced to share their food with their animals.
Tumeanza kutakata mbuzi irudi chini mwalisha na chakula ambaye ile kidogo ambaye unapea mtoto mnapatia mbuzi, ile ambaye unapatia mbuzi mnapatia mzee. Tumeatanganya na mali, tumekuwa na njaa. Mkambia nimekuwa goigoi, funda nimekuwa goigoi, ng'ombe nimekuwa goigoi. Sasa hiyo ni kiangazi.
James Kwaruka, resident of Kairi, says that the area had not received rainfall for a long period of time, adding that the animals were now falling sick.
Mvua tulipata mwaka huu mwezi wa ngapi huko mpaka saa hii hatujapokea mvua. Sasa mali naye Turkana hapa imeanza kufa kwa sababu wanakosa nyasi na kosa maji.
Kai has called on the county government to come to their rescue by providing relief food and fodder so that they can save their animals and their children. The county executive in charge of public service, decentralized administration and disaster management, Charles Lokioto, said that teams had been sent to the drought-prone areas to assess the situation.
Wakati huu tunapoongea kuna teams ambao tumetuma katika huko nyanjani ili waweze kutuletea ripoti ya hali ya kila area vile sasa imeanza kuwaka.
This comes a few days after a report released by the government indicated that the worst hit was Kilifi, followed by Kwale, Tana River and Taita Taveta. Other counties that were affected included Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, Isiolo, Marsabit, Makueni, Kitui and Samburu. Joanne Letting for KTN News in Kibish, Turkana County.